start off the day, we're on your side with when we can expect temperatures to warm up before the end of the week.
And we're taking a trip to the Gulf Coast, where a historic winter storm continues to bring a winter wonderland to the beach.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
But first, check this out. The photos you sent in across social media and the First Alert Weather app. South Alabama seeing a winter wonderland today as snow fell across the Gulf Coast. Started over Texas last night, spreading east across the coast. And still tonight, Tania, we have snow that is now falling down along the Gulf Coast.
I know, it's a crazy sight to see, and you wouldn't have guessed we would have seen it this year.
Well, 1800s. I mean, you've got to go back to the late 1800s to find this kind of winter storm. And it was another very extremely close call for us today. We had winter weather advisories for the southern part of our area, but the dry air holding in place and keeping that precipitation from reaching the ground. So thankfully, the models did a really good job with this particular system. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Next big thing, and live look from Gulf Shores right now, where snow continues to fall. And you got blowing snow, blowing sand, and freezing temperatures there. It's just absolutely wild to see what's going on. And now look at Panama City, snow really coming down. This is at Schooners there in Panama City, one of the First Alert Sky Vision cameras. So some big accumulations happening there. You can actually see now, just looking at this view from Panama City, you can see everything's just coated in snow there along the coast at all the resorts there. But the temperatures now, with all the snow to the south of us, obviously it's going to be an extremely cold night out there. And this is causing some big time issues. You can see there's a sharp cutoff point right there to the north, but you get down in towards places like Auburn, further down on 280, in the Montgomery area. We've been seeing numerous accidents down in South Alabama, and this will have lasting impacts. So keep that in mind with respect to travel interests. But the dry air on the northern edge of this just eroding that precipitation. This is all going to continue to pull on out, but no surprises expected for tonight. Obviously, the way this is all moving away. I want to show you something. These are dew points down into the single digits, and what this is telling us is just how extremely dry the air is across Alabama. And this has been one of the factors, the amount of dry air. Now, you think back to events like Snowmageddon, when we had a system that stayed to the south, took a similar track. Even though we had some low dew points, some very dry conditions, that moisture was able to overcome the dry air and reach the surface. But we've been seeing that precip heavy enough down into South Alabama, it's been able to reach the ground. But as for us, you looked at the radar today, you checked the First Alert Weather app, and you probably looked out the window and said, where is the snow out there? Well, it was falling, but right before it got to the ground, it was evaporating before reaching the ground, as we had quite a bit of dry air in the atmosphere, and that kept a lot of that snow in those southern areas. That's why it was such a close call and a very, very tricky forecast out there. But just some interesting things happening in the atmosphere today with this as it moves across the state. And it looks like for the overnight tonight, we're going to see the temperatures possibly in the single digits again for parts of the area. So that's one of the next big things, and while we're going to continue that First Alert Weather Day into tomorrow morning, you can see those forecast lows for early tomorrow morning. But I got to give a big shout out to meteorologist Matt Daniel, out and about in this very cold weather, bringing us some observations. Matt, and I certainly hope you're staying warm out there, buddy, but we appreciate you watching Coosa County, those areas to the south. I know it's been a very close call with this winter storm.
Yeah, we were very nervous about that, Wes, because all it takes is about, 30 miles to the north, and we've got some mess all across parts of central Alabama. But fortunately, that dry air won out. Bad news for those who were hoping for snow. Good news for us that are trying to get to A to point B. And we're in the storm tracker right now. We're actually about to get on 280 eventually, and everything's been good. When we were in Chilton County and parts of Clanton, things were looking great. And then when we were in Rockford, not a lot of people were out on the roads. People were taking everything seriously, making sure that their pipes and all that were completely restored. So all good news there. But we are looking at some major improvement. All we're having to deal with now is the cold air. And I'm telling you, being out there, it is super cold. We're going to keep you updated on that, but stay warm, make sure the pets stay inside, and don't forget, protect those pipes, because as y'all were saying, it's going to be very cold going into tonight. Reporting live here in the Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Matt Daniel, WBRC6 News, on your side.
Well, be sure to use the code on your screen to download the First Alert Weather app for your phone's app store. And we're going to be bringing you continuous coverage and updates on today's freezing temps and when you can expect that next warm up. And I know some of you are really looking forward to that, but we're still on your side talking to emergency management officials about ways to stay safe in these dangerous cold temperatures. Your East Alabama reporter Reggie Kyle joins us live after talking to the EMA in Etowah County about what we all need to know.
That's right, Tania. Gaston, Etowah County EMA Director Derek Marmot tells me two things people were concerned about: the cold weather and will they see any snow today. Now, Marmot says with these extremely cold temperatures in Alabama, people need to make sure that they're wearing extra layers of protection before they go outside. He says if you work outside, you should take frequent breaks in warm environments to keep your body temperature warm. Director Marmot says they partner with nonprofit organizations, city leaders, and community centers around the county that'll provide a safe and warm place for anyone seeking shelter.
We understand that not every warming center can be staffed 24/7 for overnight shelters, and we're just absolutely thankful for the volunteers that have opened their businesses or their places of worship to be able to house people, to be able to get out of this cold. We would have been a lot worse situation if we didn't have that, and we're extremely thankful.
And once again, Director Marmot says if you do not have to go outside in this cold, to please stay inside. I'll put a list of those warming stations in this story on our WBRC News app. You're reporting in Etowah County. I'm Reggie Kyle for WBRC 6 News, on your side.
Thanks, Reggie. And always a reminder, with another night of sub-freezing temperatures ahead of us, there are numerous shelters open for anyone needing a place to stay warm. That includes the Jimmy Hill Mission in Birmingham. You can also find details on those shelters right now on the WBRC News app. Well, pack up those sleds. We're heading to the beach. That historic winter storm leaving plenty of snow across the Gulf Coast today, and we're going to check it out in just 30 seconds. We'll be right back with more First Alert Weather Extra.
Taking you back down to New Orleans from the Cat's Meow balcony. Look at the blowing snow in the French Quarter. This is actually from earlier this morning around 10:15, and the snow continues to come down. We had some awesome snow video coming from New Orleans as well. You may remember Toy Thornton. He sent us this awesome video from the Algiers community, which is just outside of New Orleans. This again sent to us about 9-10 o'clock this morning. So I can only assume that these snow totals are going to continue to grow. The record snow for New Orleans, look at that date, February of 1895. They picked up a little over 8 inches of snow. Other portions of the state saw upwards of 14 inches of snow. And how about this? Lake Charles, Louisiana, still under a blizzard warning. Well, at least it was until noon today. That's something you don't see very often along the Gulf Coast either, along with winter storm warnings. Now, snow in South Alabama, it has snowed 15 times in Mobile. The last snow where they saw over an inch was back in 2017, and the last time with 2+ inches was a 2-day event, and I know you remember it, March 12th and 13th of 1993. If Mobile can pick up where the records are taken, over 3.6 inches of snow, that will absolutely tie the record, if not break it, for the city of Mobile. Looking forward to seeing some of these snow totals over the next 24 hours. It just keeps growing. We'll have much more on the snow and winter storm across the state on Extra.
And it did break the record today. We saw over 6 inches of snow measured at Mobile today, so that breaks the record from 1895, according to the National Weather Service. Over 6 inches of snow, just absolutely unbelievable. But around here, we've got the frigid air in place, and we're going to stay in the tundra here through the overnight. Lows down around 9 degrees in some areas to the north, and there's a chance tomorrow that briefly we may rise above freezing in some of these far northern areas early by midday tomorrow, but to the south, a greater chance we are going to rise above freezing during the afternoon. But to the north, may not stay above freezing for long because tomorrow night we're going to drop down into the teens. But by the end of the week, we do look for these temperatures to gradually improve. Could we see some more light precipitation by the end of the week? Next chance of rain. We'll talk all about that coming up in the 10-day forecast. Tania?
Thanks, Wes. And yeah, as you mentioned, we did break some records in parts of South Alabama for those snow totals. So let's break down those snow totals a little bit more right now. Zooming into parts of the South and really the Gulf of Mexico, it's such a crazy sight to see that over 5 and 6 inches have fell in some of these places. Just north of Gulfport, 6.7 inches, Pascagoula, 6.7, Mobile, Alabama, 5.9 inches, 5.9 in Foley, Pensacola, 5.6, and notice even more for areas south and further to the west. Over in parts of Louisiana, New Orleans, 9.6 inches of snow. Now, unfortunately, if you were looking for snow here across central Alabama, yeah, we didn't get it. But there's more chances. We're still in that winter weather season. But we got to start off with showing you some of these pictures from our viewers. You all have been sharing these in on the First Alert Weather app and across our social media platforms from the snow in that winter wonderland today across South Alabama. What a beautiful sight to see there. You can see that. But this all comes, volunteers and leaders across Alabama making sure that people have a safe place to stay warm if they need it. Because even though we didn't see snow here across central Alabama, we're still dealing with those really freezing temperatures. People in Pickens County got ahead of the game and opened a warming station early. Your West Alabama reporter Brian Henry joining us now with a place you can go to escape the cold. How you holding up out there, Brian?
Well, it's very cold out here in Tuscaloosa. Local leaders in Carrollton opened a warming station this past Sunday, and so far several people have taken advantage of it since it opened a couple days ago. Now, the location is right off the main square in the USDA Service Center building, which is right across the street from the courthouse. They have coffee available along with hundreds of cots on hand if they're needed. Bradley Lee says the warming station will remain open until this coming Sunday.
And I think there's one in Aliceville as well, and they've got all of it, cots and blankets and the same kind of thing we've got here. We just wanted something local right here for mainly for the elderly people that's not capable of driving all the way to Aliceville and that kind of thing. So it would be more convenient for the citizens of Carrollton to have one local.
Bradley Lee credits volunteers and the Pickens County Baptist Association for providing all of that food and coffee, again, all the way until Sunday of this week. Your reporter in West Alabama, Brian Henry, WBRC 6 News, on your side.
All right, thanks a lot there, Brian. And don't go anywhere. We continue to talk about the frigid temperatures expected for your Wednesday morning. And we talk about how first responders are keeping safe in these cold conditions. We'll be right back.
Hi. Can you hear it? Hello? Okay, we can get set up.
All right, welcome back into Weather Extra, and the numbers just keep rolling in here from South Alabama. Just got a report, 7.5 inches of snow measured from the National Weather Service in Mobile. That shatters that 1895 record of 6 inches of snow. A history-making storm impacting South Alabama as that snow continues to fall there. And I've seen some reports there, some observers in the far South Alabama using the ruler measuring the snow depth, and I've seen a couple there showing even over 7 inches of snow in some locations. But of course, the greatest snow impact staying down into South Alabama. Thankfully, the models did a really good job with this. As we move throughout tomorrow morning, we're going to be seeing those temperatures around here locally still in the sub-freezing range. Extremely cold conditions out there. It's not only extremely cold, but it's extremely dry. And we actually had a reinforcing surge of that really dry air that moved in last night. That's what kept a lot of this moisture at bay throughout the day. You can see right now all that snow that was showing up now pulling out of the far southern part of the coverage area. We didn't see any precipitation reach the surface in any of our counties. We had a couple of flurries not far from Demopolis reported earlier today. I saw some reports down into southern Chilton County briefly, but that's about it. And so no issues as far as ice on the roads here locally, but there's going to be some big problems. You get down into South Alabama through tomorrow morning, and especially tomorrow, get a little sunshine. Some of that ice is going to melt away, and then it could refreeze tomorrow night. We'll have sun tomorrow, but after that cold start, we really won't climb above freezing until on into the afternoon for a lot of areas, especially to the north. So for most of the day again tomorrow, a lot of us may actually stay in that freezing range, and then tomorrow night it's back into the teens for overnight lows, but we will stay dry throughout the day on Thursday. Models have been suggesting as we go into the day on Friday, there have been some hints. You can see not much of a wind tomorrow, by the way, east-northeast. More of a east-southeasterly breeze there later in the day, so not too gusty tomorrow. But as we look ahead into Friday, there's an upper trough that's going to move over the state and see how it brings some clouds in here. Might squeeze out a few flurries, maybe even a snow shower across far north Alabama on Friday. Some of the models have hinted at that possibility, but the good news is temperatures on Friday for us rise into the 50s. We're starting to, some milder air, more seasonal air is going to be moving in by early next week. We'll see rain come back by late on Sunday and into Monday and next week. So we look at that 10-day forecast, and you can see a first alert for rain chances Sunday into Monday. Nothing significant as far as any severe weather threat or anything like that. You can see temperatures stay very cool. In fact, more seasonal conditions coming back towards the middle of next week. But again, we are still in the deep freeze out there. And when it comes to the cold, first responders have to work and help in those emergencies out there in this harsh weather. Birmingham Fire and Rescue fought 2 fires this morning, and we talked to them about how they work in these freezing conditions.
Hey Wes, Birmingham Fire and Rescue says it is the pain from the bitter cold that makes their job nearly uncomfortable to work in. Now they say it's difficult, but it's what they train for and what they do to help their neighbors. Now, if water is not flowing consistently through the hoses, it can freeze the lines, but Battalion Chief Clay Hendon says as long as they are working, they shouldn't have any issues. Now, crews will rotate more often to get out of the elements and warm up. Now, just like you and me, crews will put on some extra layers underneath their gear. However, if their gear gets wet, it adds weight, and those extra layers can eventually lead to sweating and moisture underneath all of that gear. And it only takes just a matter of minutes for frostbite to occur.
It doesn't take very long. In a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, especially with wet gear, wet gloves, you start getting frostbite pretty quickly during those conditions. So we try to get them out as quickly as we can and rotate them.
Now, to prevent a house fire from happening in your own home, Chief Hendon suggests checking your smoke detectors first to make sure that they have fresh batteries and are working. If you're using a space heater, make sure that it is isolated from anything around it, and also make sure it's plugged in directly into the wall and not an extension cord. And then if you're going to use your fireplace and light a fire, make sure that you have that mesh screen down so no embers come out and hit your carpet. Your reporter live in Birmingham, I'm Jillian Brooks for WBRC 6 News. On your side.
Yeah, certainly want to be safe out there, and some great information from Jillian. Again, as we deal with these very cold conditions, meteorologist Tania Michelle joining us now. And Tania, we're tonight expecting those lows actually down into the single digits, but it's just been such a close setup today with this dry air, the cold air. Just can't imagine with these kind of temperatures, that ice that we're going to be dealing with across the state of Alabama. Probably see some more icy travel conditions in early on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, areas south definitely need to be careful for any hazardous travel conditions. Let's take you now beyond the 7-day. Let's take you now beyond the 7-day, and definitely if you're across South Alabama, like Wes was saying, you want to be careful as you're out and about on those roads. If you need to travel down south, please check in for forecast updates. Make sure you're tuning in to news and local weather updates down there. But we'll continue to give you updates here too. But let me show you what we're looking at beyond the 7-day. This is across the U.S., January 29th through February 4th. And as you can see, some areas, a part of the nation, could be seeing above average temperatures, but that doesn't include us here across central Alabama. We'll be looking more near average as we bring in the first few days of February, and areas further south along the Gulf Coast may be starting to see some above average temperatures, so a lot warmer than what they've been seeing this week for sure. As we take a look at precipitation across the U.S., a good mix, above average rainfall for much of the southeast, including central Alabama, North Alabama, but looking a lot drier across the coast of Alabama, and that Florida panhandle, but above average rainfall expected for parts of Louisiana. Now, as we look beyond the 7-day, breaking down those next and those returning rain chances, Wes talked a little bit about this. We're going to see our next chance of rain Sunday, but as we look a little bit further out, bringing us into Monday, still seeing some showers around, possibly carrying into Tuesday, more unsettled weather pattern as we kick off early next week, but we're actually tracking some dry conditions middle to late week, but by next weekend, February 1st, we could be seeing some more heavier rainfall across the south and really the southeast in general, carrying into Sunday, February the 2nd. So the first few days of February, not looking the driest, but we'll continue to keep you up to date here in case that forecast changes. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a final check on your weather, and we're looking at more of those lovely weather photos of today's snow day. Not for us, but areas south, yes. We'll be right back. We are heading down south. This is in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Wow, look at
the
it
snow
come
coming
down.
down. Right, Wes?
Yeah.
That was sent in from Scotty Smith. And this one.
Yeah, Cherie Bean in Mobile sharing snow. And again, if you
That's
just
pretty.
now joined us, over 7 inches of snow in Mobile today.
Oh, look at the families enjoying the snow. That's an Opelika.
Opelika. Yeah, Candy Satterfield, I should say. And how about Louisiana, Gretna, Louisiana? Dee Gaynor sharing that picture and more
A video.
Orange Beach.
Orange Beach. Heath Logan. Okay.
You said earlier, Tania, how do you play in the sand and the snow? I guess
I guess they figured it out today.
it's going to be a
snowy,
gritty snow.
Yeah, a snowy Sandman. Yeah.
I guess so. Robin Whitney in Mississippi sharing this photo.
Ooh, pretty.
I'm telling you what, this has been quite a system here. Certainly fascinating to watch this all unfold. And you and I were just talking about what's amazing is how well the models perform with this. And going back to last week, for 2 weeks, it seems like, I know we've been watching it like a hawk every day, but the models have really been locked in on South Alabama.
I know, and it's
Yeah.
so crazy to see exactly how much they got.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think they were ready for 6 inches.
Oh, man, over 7 inches. And listen, it's still coming down right now. I mean, that
Man.
shatters the record was 6 inches for an event in 1895 in Mobile.
Wow.
And now 7.5 inches of snow.
And hey, get this, it's not even over yet, Wes. There's still snow falling in areas further east. You
Well,
were
that's
just
right.
saying North Carolina,
Right.
Georgia was getting snow today.
I know.
It
This-
just skipped us.
Yeah, and look, this is going to spread. It'll be interesting to see how far this drops into the Florida Peninsula. I know over towards
Yeah.
Panama City, so we'll be watching it tonight as it continues on to the east direction. But for us, again, dangerous cold here,
Yes.
sub-freezing temperatures, but we finally climb out of the tundra, looks like towards the end of the week.
Yeah, and then we have returning rain chances into early next week. A little more unsettled, but we'll have updates, of course, tonight.
Yeah, a lot that we're tracking. We'll have more on what's happening to the south and more. That's all tonight, starting first at 9, so be sure to join us.
Dude, good show. Hey, what's up? Oh, let's knock it out. I'm ready too. I think that 7-day still pulled up, or 10-day. You ready? All righty, and 3, 2. Hey there, everyone. First Alert meteorologist Tania Michelle here. We are taking a look at that 10-day forecast. We still have a First Alert weather day into the middle of your week for really, really cold and frigid conditions. We're talking about below freezing temperatures and wind chill down in the single digits and teens. But we'll be warming up slightly as we approach the weekend. We're tracking some afternoon highs in the upper 40s by your Saturday and Sunday. But that leads us to more unsettled weather for the second half of your weekend and into early next week. We're tracking a 40% chance Sunday and Monday. Temperatures in the afternoon in the upper 40s, a little bit warmer for your Monday morning. Finally seeing some above freezing morning conditions early next week, but still pretty chilly out there for those early mornings through at least the end of next week. We're tracking mid-50s possibly by next Friday, so slightly warmer as we approach next weekend, but that's a look at that 10-day forecast. We'll continue to give you all updates and keep you well informed. You can also get updates by downloading the WBRC First Alert weather app.